Welcome to the Top Step. We've got a very special episode. The Mariners are in the American League Championship Series, about to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. How did they get there? We're going to revisit that historic Game 5, all 15 innings of it. Also, we're going to preview the series against the Toronto Blue Jays. What are they up against? Let's get into this week's episode of the Top Step. Top Step is brought to you by Warrior Injury Law. If you're injured, contact attorney Rob Edens at 253-WARRIOR, battle tested. Welcome to the Top Step. I'm Rowland-Smith. We've got a very special American League Division Series Game 5 edition preview of the American League Championship coming up. In this episode, we even pushed the show back to make sure we could wrap this historic game up, Game 5. And I'm happy to be on the Top Step with you after a win. I was worried I was going to have to come do an episode and get it ready after a loss. Maybe. You never know what was going to happen in Game 5. We're going to revisit the whole thing. Before we break the whole thing down, though, and we dive into it and what's up coming up next, make sure you subscribe over at YouTube at the Top Step TV. Check out all the interviews with your favorite current and former Mariners, plus all my breakdowns, everything TTS. And follow us on X and Instagram at the Top Step TV. You can follow along, how to speak Australian, the whole bit. Okay, so let's dive into a very special Eyes on the M's brought to you by King LASIK. Look, if you're ready for freedom from hassling with glasses and contacts, do what I did. Go to King LASIK. It was the best decision I ever made for my eyes. The procedure was easy, and it was over in under 15 minutes. Start with a free Zoom consult at kinglasik.com. Okay, so let's start with who the Mariners were up against. Tarik Skubal, one of the game's best. He will be... he's going to be the 2025 Cy Young Award winner. And by the way, the toughest starting pitcher in these playoffs that you were ever going to face, right? Especially in the American League, getting to the World Series. He was the toughest guy you would face. It's not even close, right? The Mariners have had success against him. Obviously, three times they had, quote unquote, beaten him. But look, all eyes were on him for a big Game 5, right? He struggled in Game 5 last year against the Cleveland Guardians. He's their ace. They were in a perfect position. Let's get real. And yes, he was nasty. He had 13 punch-outs. Changeup was elite. He was 100 miles, 101, hitting 101 late in that game too, by the way, before they took him out. More on that in just a second. But what did the Mariners do? They got into that pitch count early. I said that in the first inning. When you start pushing towards 20 pitches, that's going to be a huge key. If you can push him out and get enough outs later on, once he's out of the game, that's going to be massive. And what did George Kirby do? He matched him. That's the other key too. Whoever was going to start this game for the Seattle Mariners had to match Tarik Skubal. He was awesome. So back to Tarik Skubal. The Mariners had to capitalize on any opportunity they had. In the second inning, Josh Naylor was in a 2-strike count, little half swing down the left field line, double. Okay, we're in business all of a sudden. And then what does he do? He stole 20 bags with the Seattle Mariners. What does he do? He steals third base. He jumped. Skubal wasn't even looking at him. Boom, steals the base. Now, that wasn't the big part of this. That was great. Steal the base. I get it. Awesome. Epic. Big, clapping hands. Mitch Garver's at bat. Now, I was questioning. I was doing pregame on the radio side. Mitch Garver in the lineup, we were kind of questioning it, right? He got down 2 strikes, change up, tried to sneak a fastball, hit it into center field. Huge at bat against Tarik Skubal. You have to maximize on those little opportunities that you get. All right, let's move forward to the third at bat. Third time through the lineup with Kerry Carpenter. We knew it was coming up, especially against George Kirby. So they go to Gabe Spire. You knew they were going to do it. Right, George Kirby was sitting at 66 pitches. By the way, George was just absolutely dominant as well. George Kirby throws a fastball, center cut, and of course, Kerry Carpenter, who, by the way, coming into this game, had 1 hit. That was a home run against George Kirby game 2. He comes in, gets his fastball down the middle. What does he do? Goes deep, left-on-left matchup. He'd only hit 3 home runs against lefties all season long. Unbelievable. That was that heartbreaking moment, man. I was getting texts from friends saying, this is building its way up to going to be the biggest heartbreak of the season. 45,000 plus, we're all feeling the same way too, man. They're all thinking, how am I going to stomach this at work on Monday? How am I going to live with this all winter long? So he's sitting there, You got Scooble on the hill. And then what does AJ Hinch do? He took him out. I couldn't believe it. He'd been making really good decisions the whole game. He took Tarek Scooble out. 99 pitches. I get it, but make it to 140. Finnegan comes in, someone who the Mariners have had success with. Canzone comes up to pinch hit. Then they counter move. So then we get in who? Leo Rivas. And what does he do? Base hit. Ties it up. It's 2-2 at this point. And here we go. All of a sudden now it's 2-2. You're feeling really good about it. Then we go into the extra innings. The bunts. JP trying to get a bunt down twice. Polanco didn't bunt in a situation. Extra inning. It was crazy, right? So we'll get to the 15th inning in just a second. But what about the pitching from the Mariners? Man, Matt Brash was stellar, man. 2 innings. He'd been a little shaky. 2 innings, awesome. Munoz, you knew he was going to have to go deep into his outing as well. 2 innings. He was great too. Pitching in the 8th, just like Duran did with the Phillies. I've talked about that a lot. Logan Gilbert, man, coming out of the bullpen. I thought he was going to throw 105 his first pitch, man. First time ever. You got Bizzardo, career high, ridiculous bullpen. So let's get to the 15th. All of a sudden, Kanelin's pitching. Command wasn't great. The at-bats were good. I'm like, oh, man, maybe they can just walk in a run here. And then who comes up? Polanco, who, by the way, took Scooble twice in game 2. Gets a 3-2 count. Base hit. Game over. History. The Detroit Tigers head into their winter, and the Mariners head to Toronto. Absolutely epic night at T-Mobile Park. I have never, ever experienced the atmosphere at a sporting event, period, than I did at T-Mobile Park. It was unbelievable. Wow, what a game. It was excruciating, don't get me wrong. 15 innings that could have ended in absolute heartache, but it was unbelievable. The pitching was unbelievable. You had one little opportunity, one little window against Tarek Scooble. Mitch Garver came up massive, who, by the way, I was maybe a little surprised he was in the lineup. I know he's a part of that lefty lineup. You had Kerry Carpenter that you matched up perfectly with, where you take, George Kirby out. Not that I was happy about him coming out, but you have a situation where Gabe Spire can come in. That's his spot. And again, he's done nothing against lefties, hitting sub 200 against lefties. He's hitting 180 against fastballs, and he takes a fastball deep. I couldn't believe it. So, just an epic night all over. Now, all of a sudden, they go play the Blue Jays, and that's what we're going to talk about coming up later in the show. What are they up against these Toronto Blue Jays, man? They are really, really good. Okay, that was Eyes on the M's, brought to you by King LASIK. When we come back, don't go anywhere. We've got the Cal Raleigh home run tracker. There's no home runs in Game 5, but we're going to get back to an earlier part of this series and do the Cal Raleigh home run tracker. And we're going to look ahead to the Blue Jays series. It's going to be a tough matchup. What they did to get to where they're at against the New York Yankees and everything else. Plus, how to speak Australian too. I've got a good one, a little trivia for you. So don't go anywhere. Keep it right here on the Top Step.
Wellness. How do you practice it easily every day? At Olympic Hot Tub, we have more ways to achieve total wellness at home than ever before. Immerse yourself and let jets melt stress away in a saltwater hot spring spa. Swim in the privacy of your own backyard in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to cozy warmth and detox in an amazing Tilo sauna. Then awaken your mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Better you, better life.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ann, who broke her leg in a trip and fall accident.
I had broken my femur and I was in horrific pain. We chose Warrior because they had a good reputation. I wasn't just a name, I was a person, and that makes a big difference. I'm just grateful that we had the settlement for my care. I'm very pleased.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
See life better with perfect, clear, natural vision from King LASIK.
Being a former professional athlete, I still love staying active. From paddleboarding, snowboarding, even playing with the kids, everything was such a hassle dealing with glasses and contacts. I'm so grateful to Dr. King and King LASIK. It's amazing how much better I see life.
I'm Dr. Joseph King. Let's free your eyes from the hassle of glasses and dirty contacts.
Schedule your free consult at kinglasik.com. King LASIK. See life better.
Welcome back to the Top Step. It is now time for the Cal Raleigh Home Run Tracker, brought to you by Bob Oates Plumbing and Sewer. Big Dumper approved. Bob Oates is here for you. So let's go back to Detroit Game 3 where he hit number 61. Postseason, I know 60 during the regular season, but 61 still a pretty big deal. 105.6 miles per hour off the bat, 391 feet into the bullpen at left center field, swinging left-handed off Brad Hannafy. That was epic. And you know what was so epic about it? This was so cool. I couldn't believe it. The dude who was literally surrounded by orange, surrounded by Detroit Tigers fans, Mariners fan, the one dude out there, you had dump here, 61, and he got the ball at left center field. I couldn't believe it. And by the way, when I first saw it, I was thinking to myself, okay, the guys in the bullpen must have tossed it up to him, the only Mariner fan out there. No. When you watch the replay, check it out. Ball bounces up. He reaches over the fence, gets it, goes crazy. And Cal is so awesome. And the Mariners, great job. They brought him down to meet Cal Raleigh after the game. Cal said, look, you just keep the ball. I'll give you a bat as well. The dude was getting interviewed on Fox Sports on the coverage the next day. It was epic. It was so cool. He was on Intentional Talk. Anyway, really epic home run. That was the Cal Raleigh Home Run Tracker brought to you by Bob Oates Plumbing and Sewer. Big Dumper approved. Bob Oates is here for you. All right, before we get into it, remember, we've been talking about this all summer long. We had a chance to sit with Cal at the Scuttlebutt Brewery where he unveiled the Big Dumper beer. It's a lager. It's pretty good. I've got a 6-pack of them in the other room. I need him on the show. But go check him out. It's from Scuttlebutt Brewing. It's a collaboration with Cal Raleigh himself. Available at Scuttlebutt Brewing and retailers near you. Welcome back to The Top Step. This segment is brought to you by Olympic Hot Tub. October is Olympic Hot Tub's 9th annual Founders Event. This month, a portion of every hot tub, swim spa, and sauna purchase will be donated to Food Lifeline. Food Lifeline's mission is to feed people experience hunger today while always working to end hunger for tomorrow. Now, more than ever, it's critical we help Food Lifeline feed those in need. For nearly 50 years, Olympic Hot Tub has been proud to support the overall health and wellness of our communities. We invite you to join our efforts at olympichottub.com. Get over there and support it. Okay, so the Mariners are on to the American League Championship. First time since 2001. Think about that. And look, it's going to be tough, right? But before we get into the Blue Jays, just think about that. It's got a nice ring to it, right? It's nice. Like, you've got the American League West, huge. You got Cal Raleigh having a historic year, right? This team, it's just been a magical year. American League West, now you're going to the American League Championship. Can they get to the World Series? Okay, so this is what you're up against. And by the way, I was thinking about this as the game was going on. Toronto must have been absolutely loving watching this game from the East Coast. They would have been sitting up late watching Detroit and Seattle just beat up on each other, wearing out pitching, going 15 innings, messing up any kind of starting pitching structure you would have had for the first few games, right? Like when you're talking about, okay, we want to get Logan game 1 and Castillo, maybe even O'Brien will, I don't know. But that's gone all out the window because of tonight. And that's okay. I'll explain why in just a second. We'll get back to that in a second. So what exactly are the Mariners up against when you're talking the Toronto Blue Jays? How did the Blue Jays get to where they're at now, especially in that American League East? Well, they absolutely destroyed the Yankees, right? So they had the bye round. Yankees had to come in. The Yankees beat Boston. And I'm telling you, it was just, everyone talks about what went wrong with the Yankees. You know what went wrong with the Yankees? They ran into the Blue Jays. First of all, Kevin Gausman, you remember him, right? The Mariners faced him a couple years ago. He was dominant, man, that game 1. He was absolutely dominant. Then all of a sudden, the Yankees had that little window to get him. And I'm telling you, there was an at-bat against Aaron Judge. He went 3-2, stayed with a split. Judge chased, which I was shocked about, and he ended up punching him out. And and then all of a sudden, Louis Varland came in after that, punched out Stanton. It was huge. So they took game 1, and you're starting to think, well, yeah, you've got Max Fried on the mound the next day for the Yankees. This is going to be tough for that Blue Jays offense, which is really, really good, way better than the Detroit's offense. Then they go to game 2. We'll stay on the pitching here for a minute. Trey Savage for the Blue Jays. He's 22 years old, has a split that he comes down from the heavens, dude. This thing is so nasty. And he absolutely outdid Kevin Gausman the night before, dominated the Yankees, like dominated them. It was ridiculous, right? And then again, the offense just went to town again on who? Max Fried. They beat Max Fried, who, by the way, was like looking like a Cy Young contender those first couple months of the season. He had a really good year for the Yankees. Huge signing. And they just took care of business. Max Fried was out of there in the first couple innings. He didn't even get through the fourth. So you've got Luis Gil game 1 and then Max Fried game 2. Couldn't even get through the fourth inning. So there you go. They wrap up the first 2 games. Then you go back to New York. And this is where he starts getting maybe a little bit dicey. Shane Bieber was pitching for the Blue Jays. He struggled a bit. The command just wasn't there. And the Yankees, excuse me, on the other end, you're starting to think, okay, something's about to happen here. Aaron Judge hit this ball. You wouldn't believe it, against Varland, who was so good against him in that game, against the Yankees in that game too. He hit a ball that was like so far off the plate. It was, in the StatCast era, it was the furthest pitch off the plate that was hit for a home run. It was unbelievable. And you're starting to think to yourself, okay, that momentum's starting to swing back to the New York Yankees, where all of a sudden now they're going to swing it back with these games going on over in Yankee Stadium and the rest of it. Not to mention, too, after the Yankees won that first game, the Blue Jays have to roll out a bullpen game in Game 4. So you're thinking to yourself, are you kidding me? Well, the bullpen game worked absolutely to perfection. No one had more than 4 outs. It was insane how well it worked, right? So that was Game 4, but they end up taking care of the Yankees. The thing that stands out to me, though, is with this Blue Jays team. You know what they do really well? They make a ton of contact. So you've got all that power from Vlad. Bo Bichette's not going to be in the lineup. I don't think he's going to play. He made DH. You got all that power. Varsho's been really a ton of power as well. Springer's just having an epic year coming back. But you got all that power. But you know what the difference is? And the difference with them and the Yankees, they make a ton of contact. So this is going to be a very tough matchup. Not to mention, too, we talked about the pitching earlier. How do the Mariners match up with this pitching? You know what? I think tonight, this 15-inning game was a huge eye-opener for the Seattle Mariners. Why? Because now they can look at this and say, maybe we can piece this together a little bit different. Maybe you can have a Luis Castillo come out of the bullpen. Maybe you have a Bryce Miller game 1 and you're able to get one of these other starters and piggyback until we can kind of restructure ourselves. And they've proven that they can do it. Castillo looked great out of the bullpen. Velocity was good, 95s, 96s. Logan looked epic out of the bullpen. 2 innings. Looked really, really good. I'm not going to say he's going to go and piggyback anyone, but I just look at that and say, man, you can absolutely just have chaos with that pitching and you can survive. So it is going to be a tough series in Toronto. You remember what happened when the Mariners got back to the playoffs just a couple years ago. They went and took care of business in Toronto, but that place is no joke. It is a tough place to pitch. It's a tough place to play overall. And offensively, this is a way differently built team, the Blue Jays, than what we saw obviously a couple of years ago. And not to mention too, the bullpen. I know they had the bullpen day, but if you can get into that bullpen, I think good things are going to happen. So they're going to get Kevin Gausman game 1. I think they're going to get you Savage at home. You Savage in Rogers Center. I will say this: if they for some reason want to have Trey Savage pitch game 3 and have Bieber, maybe they're thinking Bieber might be better at home. I'm telling you, man, the atmosphere at T-Mobile with a young 22-year-old, I know he was dominant in Rogers Center, that could be huge. Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments what you think. What do the Mariners need to do to get to the World Series? We're talking they're 4 wins away from the World Series and then 4 wins away from winning a World Series. Think about that. It's insane. By the way, I learned about the Tridents getting dropped out in left center field. I had no idea what that was all about. But let me know what you think. All right, listen, we're going to have some fun when we come back. Keep it right here on The Top Step.
See life better with perfect, clear, natural vision from King LASIK.
Being a former professional athlete, I still love staying active. From paddleboarding, snowboarding, even playing with the kids, everything was such a hassle dealing with glasses and contacts. I'm so grateful to Dr. King and King LASIK. It's amazing how much better I see life.
I'm Dr. Joseph King. Let's free your eyes from the hassle of glasses and dirty contacts.
Schedule your free consult at kinglasik.com. King LASIK. See life better.
What do you do when your drain's full of goo? Your toilet won't flush and you need to go poo. Leaky pipes flooding, yikes, don't be blue. Bob Oates is here for you.
Hey guys, Cal Raleigh here. Don't let your plumbing turn into a comedy of errors. Next time, call Bob Oates, Seattle's trusted plumber.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ed, who suffered a neck injury in a highway pileup.
Had a bulge disc in my neck. It was pinching my spinal cord, so reached out to Rob. It was amazing. Their whole team were honest and kept me informed, like they were actually interested in helping me, not just a number. I'm very pleased with the outcome. I would definitely choose these guys any time of the week.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Wellness. How do you practice it easily every day? At Olympic Hot Tub, we have more ways to achieve total wellness at home than ever before. Immerse yourself and let jets melt stress away in a saltwater hot spring spa. Swim in the privacy of your own backyard in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to cozy warmth and detox in an amazing Tilo sauna. Then awaken your mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Better you, better life.
Welcome back to the Top Step. This segment is brought to you by Core Contractors. Look, we just got all the details ready for our major remodel at our house. Levi and his team at Core Contractors, they're awesome, man. Levi is the man. He took all the stress out. We're so excited to share all the progress photos over the winter as we get, as the Hyphens house gets a major facelift. We can't wait. It's Core Contractors, a center of remodeling and restoration. Okay, it is time for How to Speak Australian, brought to you by the Kangaroo and Kiwi Pub. And we have got some Aussie trivia for you. I was thinking about this as the postseason's been going along. You've been learning all the Aussie words all summer long, learning all the lingo. Hopefully you've been using with your mates. But look, we've got some Aussie trivia and you can play along. You go to @thetopstep TV on Instagram or Twitter and see if you know the answer. Okay, so here's the question for you. Who was the first ever Australian to appear in a World Series game? All right, there's only been a couple of them, by the way. Who was the first ever Australian to play in a World Series? Right, it was. I'll give you a hint. I was a kid. I couldn't believe it, man. I was watching TV back in Australia, going, "Oh my God, this dude is playing in a World Series." He did it in pinstripes too. That's your one hint. This guy's an absolute legend back home. I know him well. I got a chance to. He was a teammate of mine on an Olympic team as well. I was very blessed to get a chance to play alongside one of my heroes. So, who was the first ever Aussie to play in a World Series game? If you know the answer, go to @thetopstep.tv on Instagram or on Twitter, or let me know in the comments at YouTube. That was brought to you by the Kangaroo and Kiwi Pub. Listen, we've been having a great summer. That's all the time we've got for this week. Don't forget, make sure you go to YouTube at the Top Step TV. Make sure you go subscribe. I'm going to be keeping this going all winter long. We're going to talk about some of the moves that happen throughout the off-season, trades, acquisitions, and everything else that goes on. So make sure you go and subscribe and go to the Top Step TV and follow along. All right, mates, we will see you next week right here on the Top Step.